Good to go? All right. Welcome, everybody, to Season 2, Episode 33 of The Movement.
The movement.
We are officially live. Yeah, we had to get you ready for that one. We should have warmed you up on that one. But with that said, we are officially live. We're ready for another great, awesome episode today. Let me introduce the people who are in the building for today. First off, you got Ramsey in the back doing the producer role, behind the scenes, as always, doing his thing. Shout out to Rambo. We appreciate him. Of course, to the right of me, you have Zach Dabbitt. He's back. He was out last week, but he's back this week. Big General's in the building. That's his name, by the way, Big General. All right, so
What's good, Big General?
yeah, that's big. That's Big General right there. You got Yusuf T in the building. Big little bro, Yusuf T. You got myself, Omar T, in the building, and then our guest for today is that boy Omar, the artist, the writer, the musician. Go ahead and give him a round of applause. He is in the building today. We're looking forward to a great show. Our topic today is all about chasing your dreams. That's something that Omar does on a daily basis. So we want to kind of, hear what he has to say, what that is all about. Because it's important. It's important to understand what it is that you love doing, and it's important to go after it, no matter what it may be. So before we start the show, though, we got to let you know, you got to make sure you subscribe to all of our pages. You got YouTube, Oz Media. You got Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under Oz Media. You can listen to the show later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. And if you want to call in, you have anything you want to ask or say, the number is 313-306-1750. Again, 313-306-1750. I got the phone here right with me, ready to answer any phone call that you guys need to or want to make. Shout out to our sponsors, the Balkan House Restaurant, Hanley International Academy, Qahwa House, PC Adhesives, and Juice Box and Hamtramck. Let's go ahead and give a shout out to the school, the greatest K through 8 school in the Hamtramck, Detroit area. Shout out to Hanley International Academy. Go ahead and run that ad, and then we'll get the show started on the road.
Let's go.
Hanley International Academy. Hanley is a school that treats every student and staff like their own family. It's even in their vision statement, educating your child like our own. Did you also know that Hanley offers a virtual academy? So if you're looking for your kid to sign up for an online school, look no further than Hanley's Virtual Academy. But if you're looking for face-to-face, Hanley International Academy is located on 2400 Denton Street, Hamtramck, Michigan. The athletics there are great. The academics there are great. Shout out to the whole staff for being great teachers and educators for our leaders of tomorrow.
All right, so we are officially back, ready to get this show on the road. First of all, can I just start with these fellas, say how they've been? Just want to check in with y'all, and before we start attacking Omar with these questions and asking him everything in between. Zach, how you been, man? Everything good?
General.
Yeah, been good, normal.
Everything good? No, nothing crazy happening in your life, Zach, or anything like that?
I don't know.
All right, Yusuf, what are you about to say?
No, I'm saying, it was great to see Zach back. I've always wanted, that competition back, if you want to call it competition. But, he's good. It's good to be back, little bro. It's good to see him, back in the camera, and I hope he has a good show. So.
He's talking about the questions game, Omar. They take it serious over here, man. So you gotta get ready for that.
No, I'm ready.
That's why you got that buzzer right there, Omar. So be ready. They go home, they take notes and everything, and make sure they.
both Omar, both uncles. I'm ready for this.
There you go. So Omar, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is it that you do, and everything else in between, Omar?
All right, my name is Omar Aburashed. I create music, videos, art, primarily music. I go under Omar Abu, AWBU, previously known as Big O Music. I'm a part-time lawyer. That's more of my work, but art is my passion and what I feel I'm best at. And that's what I do. Who I am is I'm the youngest of 4 siblings, an uncle of 13 plus, and I've been an uncle since age 8. I'm Palestinian, American, Muslim, and community member, son, brother, uncle, friend, and human. That's my summary.
For sure. And a couple things. Funny thing is, it's an Arabi thing. We become uncles in age 7, 6, 8. You know what I'm saying? At early ages, we become uncles. Heck, we were even the way our family works, because we got half brothers. So My dad was a little older, like Hemis, so it's like we were grandpas by the age of 9, 10 years old, man. You know, their kids had kids, and they were older than us. So with that said, though, you know, I followed Omar, you know, for these last few months, and you know, I really, your work is amazing. It's very unique. You do a lot of different things. The way you do things is, you know, shout out to Melanie, aka Hot Hijab.
Hot hijab.
Yeah, shout out to her. She is the one that got us connected, and we actually pre-recorded the show. We'll be dropping on Monday, May 21st, or May 22nd. But the reason why I said that is because yesterday I mentioned, I was like, after listening to the music, I feel like you're like a Muslim J. Cole. Okay.
It's an honor to hear that.
Yeah. So like, you know, because how you're down to earth and like smooth with it, and your topics is not just the normal topics. Like you don't sit there and just talk about nothing, you know, and that's important, you know, because we're going to get into like, you know, music and, you know, people saying that it's haram and stuff like that. But we know that this younger generation, that's all they're doing, you know, before they do something, they're listening to music, and then these AirPods are in their ears almost now 24/7. You see a kid walking around with AirPods in their ear. So it's like, what are you feeding them?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But we'll dive into that, all right? So my next question, or the first question of real today, is why do you feel it's important for people, for the youth, for the adults, for anyone to chase their dreams?
Okay, so first, let's start with the concept of what dreams are. Before anything, disclaimer: the first dream, at least for me, is Jannah. Should be all of us like going somewhere else. But while we're here, I don't think there's anything wrong with pursuing our highest selves. So I define dreams as self-realization or self-actualization, like who you believe yourself to be, becoming that best version of oneself. So that for me on dreams. So for example, we were talking earlier with the guys, using like Steph Curry as an example. Like Steph Curry was clearly blessed with like a 3-point shot, or whoever may be. You don't have to be superstar set, whoever may be, even international, whatever, D League. You're blessed with something. Like Allah gives you, or God gives you something. And if you're inspired by something, I think there's some divine wisdom where I can do something with this. I think you should pursue that. But it's obviously deeper than that, because then it's like, why, what's the dream? And so it's like, for music, for example, shout out Melanie, who's given me a lot of wisdom. We have had these conversations, been helping. She says, always renew your intentions every day, every moment. So for me, part of development as a human, like, of course, one time, like, my dream, I want to be the best rapper ever. What does that even mean? And I was like, oh, I'm like, what does that mean? And it's like, I don't want to be the most famous person. It's like, what's my dream per se? It's like, all right, what do I love doing? Creating music, videos, fashion, whatever it may be. So it's like, is there a way for me to make halal money from this and potentially help people or teach people, or make sense of my own life and lessons and feed a family and kids with that? So that can be a dream. Your dream doesn't have to be, I want to be Kanye big. It can just be, I want to just be me, like to my fullest, and be, and we live in a capitalistic society where, so it's like, that's where I think it's important to be like, what is your dream? Why is it? Do I want to be Elon filthy rich so I can say screw you to everyone who doubted me? Or do I want to be great at what I do? Because like Islam calls for us to be excellent in what we do. So it's like, I take my work seriously, but like me, I don't take seriously because I'm a flawed human. I'm like, that's always me working on me. But just like I said, that's why I appreciate you having me here. Like, there's these Instagram versions of us. It's like what we show to the world. So it gets complicated, but it's like, your dream is, are you staying in tune with what's here and true to your path? So it's like, and I say that to a lot of my family and friends. And people are like, well, I don't have a talent like what you have. It's like, I don't think you have to have this like unique gift or talent. Like, some people's gift is like, you sit in a room. It can be like some Amo's ability to just connect with certain people. It's like the same way there's, my last analogy, I don't want to keep going on a rant, but like you go to a conference, right? Let's say it's like a motivational conference or something. And there's like 10 speakers lined up. One guy might go and like the crowd might be like, oh my God, I felt so moved. Some people will be like, screw that guy. That guy was cheesy. That guy was whack. And then another guy comes up and he moves people. So it's like, think of that analogy as like, we all represent, we're all creations of God. So it's like what we bring in our energy, from our work to everything, our character, everything is what we're sending out. So it's like, I think, and then we all have this capability and potential to be our highest versions of ourselves, which we I don't want to keep this is a universal concept, but like use Ramadan as an example. Like everybody's on good vibes. Everybody's at their best. You see everybody is like goodness and potential. And then we kind of forget, and this life makes us like panic. Like you have bills to pay, you have problems, and
Yeah.
even if you're younger, it doesn't have to be bills to pay. Like you just life can be hard.
Yeah.
But chasing your dreams, I think, keeps you. My final thing is keeps you in alignment with what I believe God has written for you. And I found my relationship and my connection to God has been strengthened and better understood through me pursuing my journey of. I'm like, if God, and this is, I keep saying shout out Melanie, but these are her words. But like, if God inspired it in you, and it's like goodness in it, then there's a reason for it. And that's where you have to have discernment. It's like, oh, I want to be the richest person ever, and I was in Mars chilling with aliens. Like, no, that's just, you know what I mean? Like, there's a level of like what be realistic means, but like, be realistic, but also aim for the stars. But like, we can do a lot of things. Like, God gives us a lot of power, more than I think we realize.
No,
It's a long answer, but that's
no, I love that. I love that. Zach, you want to add on or maybe share your own 2 cents of why you feel it's important to chase your dreams?
Everybody should have a goal. You know, I feel like everybody should go achieve. You know, have something to wake you up every morning. To achieve something.
Yeah, for sure. Yusuf, you want to add on to
Yeah,
it?
what you said, like towards the end, you were saying, when chasing your dreams, God has already have it written for you, So basically, He's gonna have like little steps in your way to, give you hints. Like for example, if you feel like you're doing something good and like you're getting better at it, obviously it's for you. So you're gonna keep chasing that, and I just feel like when you're chasing your dreams and when you feel like you're closer, that's what makes you like want to work harder and continue on until you eventually reach your goal. So chasing your dreams, listen, there's nothing. You shouldn't ever feel like you're satisfied where you're at, because you can obviously get better. If you can go for a bigger goal if you want. So
100%.
that's what I gotta say.
Yeah, and for me, when it comes down to chasing your dreams, I definitely think that like the first step is finding out what you really want. A lot of us, we have dreams of everything. You might want to be rich. You might want to be the best basketball player. You might want to be, the CEO of a company. So it's like you really need to find out what you really want. Obviously, try your best to get everything that comes to your mind, but you really need to hone in on a few of those things and really realize, like, once you get older and older, like, in order for you to pursue your dreams, I think you really need to break it down to like what it is that you really want to do. I think that's the first step, because then you could become overwhelmed, and then now you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that, trying to do this, and you're giving everything half effort, and you're not going to pursue any of your dreams because you got so much stuff that you're trying to do.
That should have come first before anything I said, actually.
Yeah, for sure, everything that you said was 100% true, and like I agree with everything that you were saying. And then like when it comes to me, in my eyes, like every dream, people need to understand, every dream comes with obstacles.
Yes.
Like, it's not going to be easy. Straight up, like, it's not gonna be easy. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's gonna come with bumps on the roads. You're gonna be tested, and like that kind of leads like to me what like I believe is like the hardest part of your dream is when that test comes. People like are in a crossroads. Like, is this a sign, from God or from Allah telling me like I should stop, or is this a sign from Allah telling me that I'm being tested? Let's see if I'm gonna overcome this dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna overcome this obstacle to pursue my dream. So it's like, it's that balance, because, I know you said you find it in you, right? And it's weird, man. It's subhanAllah, like how it's really in you. Like you really feel it. Like you'd be like, you know what? I'm not really feeling this, man. Yeah. That's that sign in you. You know what I'm saying? Like Allah's trying to send you a sign. And then sometimes like, it's like you're fighting for something and you're struggling so much, but like something still keeps telling you to keep going. And that's like with anything in life. It doesn't even have to be your dreams. It could be a relationship. It could be something. Yeah. And it's that another sign that Allah is sending to you, like you're just being tested. And I think that's the hardest part with people, and especially the younger generation. People need to understand that you're going to get those moments in life. 100%. Those moments are going to happen where you're tested, where, do I keep going or do I quit? And I'm going to be honest with you, like with these younger generation, I'm not trying to generalize everybody, but it's like I feel like they stop. As soon as they're hit with that tough obstacle, they say, you know what, I guess it's not for me. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like I'm a coach. I coach players. Like This year, Ramsey will tell you he's one of my players. Like, my goodness, I don't know who my starters or players are gonna be going into the game. I literally wake up in the morning and I tell myself, okay, who's gonna get kicked out of the game today because of like behavior in school or just with their friends. Even after all the speeches, after all the talks, you know, it's like by the time he comes, he's my assistant AD, so assistant coach as well.
Yeah.
So he comes after school right before the game. He, you know, gets ready and we're about to leave. By the time he comes, I bet you he arrives wondering like who the heck is going to play today. Like he doesn't even know from yesterday to today. Because I think like once they're faced with challenges, they just kind of fold and they don't have that. And not all of them, but most of them kind of just don't have that. You know that resilience. Yes,
Shout
that
out,
is exactly.
Shout out Moody.
Yeah,
Nephew, resilience.
there you go. So they don't have that resilience, and you know that's part of life, man. Resilience is a part of life, and it's for sure part of chasing your dreams. That's for sure. So
I think everything you said I agree with. The only thing I would supplement on learning kind of, I don't like saying when to quit, but like you say, like, what do I take as a sign this is for me or not for me? There's levels to that. Like there's even like as you age in life, like there's it gets so deep because you can, like you said, it takes some wisdom that I think you can't like learn in a book. Like you just have to go through learning what things are of God, like telling you, and then what are fears that you just need to overcome.
yeah,
And it all comes full circle to what you said. It's like that feeling. Like, but if we're out of tune with ourselves, you're just running around like a chicken with its head off. Like you just this versus like when you know what you're feeling, like less thinking, more feeling. Like you know what feels right. And I think that's where, you know, like, and it's humbling too. Like let's say like I have to remind myself like I pray to God too. It's like if you're praying, like you say, like guide me like every day. So it's like that's the same thing. One of God's names is Hadi, like the guide. So it's like if I'm on the wrong path, because it's very easy to. I'm human like anyone else. Like I can very easily be like, oh, okay. If I'm on the wrong path, I need to be ready to leave this stuff, like ASAP. Like I try to remind myself I'm not perfect, but like I remind myself as much as I can. Like if this all crashed and burned tonight, is that going to change who I am in my relationship with God? And it shouldn't. So I think that's important too. Is like if you're holding on too much to a dream, where it's becoming this like
burden.
Yeah, it's like a burden, like this like narcissistic like conceit. It's like no, I have to like, and I've been there. Like I've been there. Like anyone, it's the passion, and that's where the negative forces of the world like use as a weakness. Like if you're a very passionate person, it's like it'll push and pull at those things, and those are tests too, also from God. It'd be like sometimes God's like, I'm going to test your character, because if you want to reach here, I need to make sure you can handle this, and this. So I feel like God sends you tests on the lower levels too until you level up. Like you got to be able. So it's like me. I want to be music and performing on a public platform, and helping and spitting knowledge and learning and collaborating with my favorite artists. It's like, what does that require of me? I was talking another shout out, Babur Harry was another rapper in the area. We had a lot of our own trials and tribulations going through being like local Muslim rappers. And you just envision this highest version of yourself. It doesn't have to be just music, like whatever. It can be spiritually, mentally, physically. What do I look like? And it's like, what does that person do on a day-to-day person? That highest version of yourself, like you're doing it. Like this studio is dope. Like, but it's like, what does that person do when you wake up from morning to night? Like, what does that person look like? Like, so if I'm sitting there like slacking, and I'm human on some days, I am like, I'm not like on the couch, I need a break. But if I'm doing that too much, it's like, okay, this dream version of myself that I know exists inside of me is not going to be fulfilled if I'm doing this too much, because that's not in alignment with what this energy requires of me. So that's it. And it's all connected spiritually too. Like Islam teaches discipline. So dunya akhirah, but like using that same dunya motivation for your akhirah, and then using your dunya for your akhirah. Like that's, so it's like keeping that, when that's in alignment, like it doesn't matter what happens, because it's like even if the dream turns left, it's like cool. Like
You're trusting Allah at the end of the day. You're trusting God at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're travelers.
Yeah.
This is the
At the end of
moment
the
of
day,
travel. We're all travelers right now. So
For sure. No, I love that. I love that. So I'm gonna move on to the next question, and I'm gonna start off with you guys. And maybe I'll start off with you, Yusuf. So, you know, why do you feel like the younger generation maybe have a hard time pursuing their dreams or pursuing their goals, if that's the case?
Okay, I'll tell you. So basically, I feel like, um, let's say younger generation, I just feel like they don't know what it takes, especially if if they never get any help, receive any help, and I just feel like you mentioned before with the younger people, as soon as something doesn't go their way, they want to stop and change and go for something else. So I feel like it may be hard on them just because they don't have the right resources, they don't have the right people to talk to, and or they just might be too like shy to ask for help, or they just like they think they're right in a way where they just want to go with what their gut, and instead of thinking of someone that had experience with that, that's what I feel like. I feel like that they're just it depends on age as well, where let's say someone Ramsey's age, I feel like they don't know what's best, compared to someone who's like, let's say, in high school, 18-year-old. um so basically, like, the more help you get, that'll obviously better benefit yourself.
How about you, Zach?
I feel like the problem is because their goals is a little too much. It's too high. You know what I'm saying? It's like not realistic. So they're not achieving something that they really can do and really achieve. They're just picking something that, like, say like NBA player. Oh, my dream is to be an NBA player. It's not realistic for like me or somebody.
You talked to this guy a year ago. My man was gonna be the next Steph Curry. Now he's saying it's not realistic.
But
Part of me, I know I should be like pushing him, but like I'm almost proud as a big brother because like I like that he's starting to be realizing like, yo, I need to be real with myself. But go ahead, Zach.
that's what I'm saying. That's the younger generation.
Now you ain't in that
Nah,
anymore.
nah.
Big General.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, shout out to Big General. All right,
General.
I'm gonna quickly say this. My answer, which is, I think they just lack vision, and they lack guidance. They lack, being goal oriented. Where like, I feel like a lot of these guys scares me, but people they just wake up and just live.
Yeah.
Like when I was in high school, like I knew what I wanted to do. I was not a perfect human being, but I knew what I wanted. And I knew that I don't care what extra stuff I did, I was still on the right path of going to where I had to go or getting to where I had to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I feel like people nowadays, and I'm not, again, this is not for everyone, but like now it's like I feel like people just kind of wake up and just live and just go about their day, and you know. And the next thing you know, they're graduating out of high school, and now they're an adult, and now they're faced with the real challenges in life, and it's like they're almost like starting off behind because they didn't really think about this stuff before becoming that adult. So,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, man? Like, why do you think they have a hard time chasing their dreams or goals?
I think discipline, and I think just balancing, like what you're saying, is like not having goals. So like I think putting too much pressure on themselves in the wrong way. There's good pressure, and then there's like constructive pressure versus destructive pressure. And then so the kind of pressure I think it's needed is like start small. Like I know some people like work in 3-month increments. Like you can have a 3-month goal. So it's like if you don't know anything you want to do with your career, it's like, but you're out of shape or you're this. It's like start there. Start with like daily goals. You said it's like live. It's like at least have intention. Was it intentionality? I think there's a word. Yeah. Just like living with intention, and that's. I'm not saying it from a place of like I'm here and it's like it's a reminder for all of us. Like I have to do it all the time. But it's like living with intention, and if life can be loaded. Like there's career, there's relationships, there's your personal health, mental, emotional, your passion side things. But to get to what youth is, I think it takes discipline. That's what school. It doesn't have to be public school, whatever school, your home school, whatever. But like now as I get older, I look back. It's not that I take the subjects from school. I'm just like, oh, that taught me to learn about myself. Like, how do I study? Where do I suck? Like, where do I procrastinate? How do I learn? And that's all part of development. But then once you like know what you want, it comes with like sacrifice and steps. And I think what you said is true. You're saying is like people have too big of goals. Like it can be that way. But I also think that's a balancing act too. Because it's like, I think a lot of kids don't know that they are capable of doing a lot of things simply out of their basement or garage. And a word of advice I wish like to the youth, like me and my friends, something I wish we did differently is like collaborate. Like if you guys connect, you can do so much. You've got your high school, your college, university campuses. You're in an environment that's so natural for like organic growth. Versus now, it's like people growing up, they get married, people are busy, they're not as involved. So, yeah, like you can start movements. Like that's where it all starts. Like youth are the ones that have the power. I think it's like you connect. Whatever you do, I think you take it as like a wajib. Besides the like goal of like I need to make money. Like we all want to be financially free, right? But forget like rich. It's financially free where it's like the life I enjoy living, I can live that life, whatever that life looks like. Yeah, but I feel like that comes when you're excellent at what you do. So just like figure out what you do. Like all of creates a role for all of us, and then that's where like it has to be egos aside. Like I can't walk in the room and be like I'm special because it's like no, it's like God created writers, doctors, lawyers, this, like created. And then it's not just careers, like created, like go old school, like a village, like there's a community. There's a person who fixed shoes, a person who did this. Like everyone offered something. So it's like figure out what you do, and be proud of it.
Yeah.
Whether you're scrubbing floors or whatever, it doesn't like don't be too proud for anything. Like we all have to remind ourselves of that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. I love what's everything that's being said so far. Ramsey, can you go ahead and let's run that second ad of today, which is going to be BC Adhesives. We're going to give a shout out to our friends out there in Wisconsin. So shout out to BC Adhesives, and then we're going to keep the show on the road. We're going to learn more about Omar and what made him go into making and writing music. So go ahead and run that ad, and we'll get that going.
Let's do it.
BC Adhesives. You can go to BC Adhesives for all your industrial adhesives needs. They do food packaging, book binding, product assembly, and many other industrial services. So if you are in need of adhesives for your business or having trouble with your current adhesives applications, you can contact them by phone 1-888-679-9825 or go on their website www.bcadhesives.com.
All right, we're officially back. All right, Omar's in the building. Now, listen, I forgot to mention this, man. So we're over here rocking this new gear. All right, I see Fly to God. I got the hat on. I got the shirt on. Zach got the hoodie on. Yusuf got the shirt on. So we're all. Ramsey got a shirt on too. Ramsey got the shirt on in the back too. You can't see Ramsey, but he's in the back. So we're all rocking this gear given to us by Omar, and this is special because it's not even out there yet, but. Maybe if you want to just give us a couple, minutes about what this is about, what's this gear, and when can people expect it to drop soon?
Bismillah. Yeah, so you guys are, aside from maybe a couple people, family, you guys are the first to have some gear, and thank you for having me.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate you for the gear.
Started out as a little side project, working with some people, and now it's a brand. Inshallah, we're looking to launch. I don't have a launch date. We're just getting the product down.
Yeah.
But it's Fly to God. And I was talking earlier, kind of the quick pitch. Brand is in a world we live in today where what's normal or accepted is not necessarily in alignment with what people who are trying to be on a spiritual path towards God do. So it's like, be fly to God, like look fly to God, but like you want it to be like an emblem, like you're wearing it, like it's like a badge of honor, like brotherhood. But also it's like do and be what's right. As long as what you're doing is fly to God, doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So it's like look and be fly to God. There's more into branding. I'm going to leave that for when we launch, but it's an honor to have you guys rocking it. And
I mean, you're the one that hooked us up with it, man. It's an honor to be rocking it, man. We appreciate you for the gifts and the nice shirts and even the hat. I'm a big hat guy, so I appreciate you for that. So, going back to you now is what made you want to begin creating and writing music? What made you want to get into that? When did you start and stuff and all that? Just give us all of it.
Okay. I was 14 years old. One of my good friends, Hirsch, Indian guy in high school, he ran me, what was it, SoundClick? He was like, check out my SoundClick page. I was like, I didn't know what that was. I was in high school, a sophomore or something. HK Productions. So he was making beats, and he made this funky beat. And I was sitting home alone one day, and I was at, before this, rewind, at Best Buy, we had like a microphone. They had a microphone, those ones really cheap ones. It used to be like a long, look like a straw.
Yeah.
So it just comes out. I bought it. It was like $20. And I was home alone one day, and I remember I was playing Hirsch's beat, and I made this this song came up. It's called Boater Bump. It was like, it was like Boater, like being proud of being like immigrant, like Boater Bump. And I played it for him. He's like, yo, you're actually good. And then he was, honestly, he opened that door. Like, I always loved music from my siblings. Like, just riding in their car. Like, I can go from like my sister playing Keith Sweat and Lauryn Hill to my older brother Sam doing like Wu-Tang, Mos Def, and then Randy will come in with like the hybrid alternative. So it will be some indie rock or whatever it may be. And then of course the parents, you got your Kulthum, Abdul Halims, all that. So it's like it's always been in my life. And then I started making music. I don't know anything about music theory. I never studied it, all of it, but like I just had like a natural, like on beats, I was just like whatever. I had rhythm on it. So I always wrote and was making music through high school, through college, but I never did anything with it. I just had like notebooks I'd compile of just rhymes, like rhyme schemes, different things I would do, ideas. Always, I was one of those kids that like doodled in class a lot. Like I would just be writing random stuff. And then I was actually going into my final year of law school. I had a bad breakup, and I was engaged. All this stuff. I was younger, and it's okay. I'm okay to say that publicly because it's just like it's like life was happening to me. And I remember I just opened one of my old notebooks. I made this this song called One Drop. It was like all I need is one drop. Like I love music. I sent it to my nephew Malik, who also makes music, by the way, and he was so young. I emailed him this, and I was like, we went back and forth, and I just started releasing stuff publicly. I was like, you know, all insecure about it. Instagram. I was like, here's this project I put together, and it started building and buzz. And I started doing poetry too with a good friend of my mother's, Ilham Mahfouz, who's an artist. She was like, can you write a poem about? She told me some stuff. She had like a Syria exhibit during the time when the crisis was going on, and I had written this poem, and that poem has carried me. Like I performed it one day at her art gallery, and I just had all these older people come up to me, and there's like buzz, like, oh, this is hype, bro, your bars are sick, versus like older people who I know have wisdom, are thinking about life. They're closer to death than, I mean, we can all go any moment, but you know what I'm saying, in the natural spectrum of life, they're closer to death than I am. But they were like, you have a gift, and you need to continue doing this. It's like you can move people and touch hearts with this. Right. And I've always created, but that's where it gets loaded. Like I can write a book, but it's just like that's where when industry gets involved and you're trying to make it a career and it's a job and it's not that cute. Like it gets complicated.
Yeah.
So I always, whether even if I like, let's say I quit, quote unquote, quit my dream of trying to be heard on a larger scale, I'll always make music.
Yeah.
Like I will always, like whether it be in my basement, no one hears it, and I just have a compilation of records. Maybe it's something for my children or after I pass away. I see it. It's just like it's in my veins. Like I even if it's like cut off music, I'll write. I'm a writer by nature.
It's therapeutic. You know what I mean? It's very therapeutic. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I've, you know, growing up, high school days, man, we used to always do it. Like we used to make music too, you know, for fun. Same microphone. That's why I know what you're talking about. That little straw mic was like a rectangle with a straw right there. That's hilarious.
Exactly.
But we did it, you know, and you know, obviously it's something that we used to talk about things that now I would never talk about now, you know. But I'm just throwing it out there. And that's something I know. You know, with these guys, we like to have some fun too. I know everybody kind of goes through that phase, but you know, obviously you took that next step. But yeah, definitely something that, I mean, from my end, like every time I write, it's therapeutic.
Yes.
And in college, I, like you said, like now, what you do now in a way sometimes is that I used to just write just to write, you know. It wasn't, I didn't post nothing, I didn't share nothing. I used to just write just to write. Like when a great beat would come out, I'd be like, man, I gotta just do something off this beat right quick. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like one of those things where you'd be like, man, like, and so it's just, it's something that, it's something that just helps with whatever it is that you may be going through or an emotion that you may be feeling, and then you just put some lines together, you know. You guys want to comment on that? You know, Yusuf used to be doing some rapping too.
No, man. For sure, I 100% agree when you say it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm like, you guys don't know this, but like, you know, a couple times out of the week, you know, I'd be on my bed and I just go on my notes and I just be writing some stuff. You know, I can show you right now, but you know, I'm not finished. but like I got a few like lines and a few stanzas of like some things I even said about Zach. Recently Zach hasn't been himself lately. He's been caught up with a lot of outside of the world drama and stuff like that. But like I wrote about stuff about Zach. About Umzi, obviously. Him in the staff and student game. Him traveling, things like that. But
Oh, so you got bars ready for us to go just in case.
not necessarily bars, but like it's like a nice poem.
Oh, okay.
Things like that.
We be
yeah.
going at it sometimes on the 4 bars, Omar. So, Yusuf is getting his arsenal ready just in case somebody calls him out.
I'm ready.
No, serious. Like writing. I don't know if it's like a family thing because I feel like everybody in our family loves to write, but
Yeah.
people don't do it. But yeah, man, it's like it's a way to express your emotions or like how you feel, outside of your head. You just write it down and just like, and then you can be amazed of how you like how you do actually. So, and I swear when I show people like what I write, and they're like, oh my gosh, you should like, continue on, do what you want, like do like a whole, let's not a song necessarily, but like do like more, more poems and things like that. But like. It's something, I don't want to say I started doing. I started like, writing, let's say junior year. But it's something nice,
Yeah.
something on the side.
By the way, Caltrey said, "Troop, welcome back, Big General. I missed you, little bro." But go ahead, Zach. You want to add on to that, or?
I feel like I'm a rapper too. That's a hidden talent. I feel like me and Yusuf got a couple songs together.
Okay.
I think me and
Oh.
got one.
This is when they're a
Remember
couple years ago, and
Yeah,
just recording on the phone.
Yeah, me too. Like if I hear a new beat, it's it's good. Like I like it. I'll just play the instrumental and then just start rapping.
There you go.
I gotta hear your stuff.
All right, you have a unique style to your work, Omar. Okay. For those that haven't listened to his music, it's unique.
I wanna listen to it.
And so, why is it important you include religion and culture in the material that you put out there?
It's a loaded question, but long story short, because that's a large part of what makes me who I am, and I'm aware of, because I've spent enough time in this doing music, how it comes off sometimes.
Yeah.
I've heard some people where it's like it's too this is too preachy, or religion's not. Let's just say this: religion is not the most popular topic. Like,
Yeah.
that's a given. So I don't want to be shoving religion or my ideologies down people's throat. But the same way you just said, like J. Cole, like I don't think of J. Cole as religion, but he does have a lot of religion, or Kendrick has a lot of religion in his music. It's what makes him. It's like going back to what we said earlier, like following your dreams. It's like you're on this journey, you're a traveler. So it's like, why do it if it's not real? Number one, not real to who you are, but also number two, as someone who at one point in time, being human, I was flawed. I was taking all the credit for my work, and then life had to humble me, which it didn't. I'm grateful, and it's like everything comes from God. Like,
Yeah.
everything, like whatever you give it, like like I can wake up and the next day and be paralyzed, and I know like everything is, so like everything is a blessing. Everything. So for me, I've been told, like people who care about me, like it's like chill out a little bit on it. There's a way to do it. That's been a journey in and of itself. Like, it's like I don't think I'm native Dean or Dean Squad, but I also don't think I'm French Montana.
Yeah.
I think I'm somewhere being who I am. It's like I grew up in America too. I'm flawed. Like people watch the show Raw Me. A lot of people have a lot of negative things to say. A lot of people are like, oh, I felt really connected to that. So
Yeah.
like, as long as you're being true to you, like I'm sure Rami Yusuf was being true to himself. It's like if you're being true to your journey and you're trying to communicate God or express something of God, and you have good intention behind it, I think that's important. So for me, I went through some stuff. I felt like I owed God, and now I feel like I'm back in balance. But like it's important to me. It's like I don't want other people to go down some of the roads that I went down. I don't want like. And then after some of the things I went through, it's like it's hard for me to feel so confident on a hype beat talking about like sipping scissor or whatever it may be, but then I'm like shy when it's about God. It's like, why? So as I got older, I'm like, why am I shy? It's like I get like cheesy, like I don't want to be like corny, but like there's a way to do it. Like, why is it so black and white? Where it's like, if you talk about God, like Kanye said it before anyone, like Jesus walks, like that's his version. I know it's like whatever you believe in, but he's like, if I talk about God, my record won't get played. Huh?
Yeah.
that's so real. Like it's so real. But then now it's like you have to like you talk about God, you have to hint at it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to talk about it. So it's like, and that's okay with me. Like I'm not mad at people for that's the way it is. But like that's my own journey within of finding. It's like I'm not a sheikh. But at the same time, I am very passionate about my relationship with the Creator.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if I can help guide some people the same way a J. Cole song or whoever it may be, there's so many rappers. I like randomly I just put shuffle like someone like bam, like they open a door in my heart or in my head that allowed me to level up or get closer to God. That's what we're all here for. We're to connect, like teach each other. Like I don't know everything, you don't know everything, but we do know some things, and sometimes we don't even know we know something, but just by being who we are, we're vibrating necessary information to people and vice versa. So like God speaks. When I say this, I have to say this carefully. I don't say when I say God speaks through us, I don't mean like stuff all in a way like prophet. I mean just like He breathed into all of us. So it's like there's Allah in all of us. So it's like perspectives. I see it's like a rotating wheel, and it's like this big art piece called life, and we're all looking at the same painting called life, but just from a different perspective. So it's like share your perspective. You're one. There's only one you and one you and one you. So it's like there's going to be a lot of crossover where we see the same things, we agree, but it's like the way you see it, the way you present it to the world that's what makes you unique. And it doesn't have to be in the form of music. You said writing's therapeutic. I think if everybody wrote more or journaled more, we'd like self-knowledge is number one. If everybody knew more about themselves, their weaknesses, what they've overcome, that's where you can like teach those things. Like everybody could be a speaker per se. Like I believe that. A lot of people don't like to, so it's not like you have to be. But I think a lot of people have. That's what made me like a weirdo growing up. For me, I was like, I always look at people. I was like, I want like a little more. Like I'm someone I get really deep in conversation. I'm just like, yo, you've been in this thing called life too. It's like, what have you learned? Can you teach me something? Can you?
For sure.
You know, I think that's important. I gone on tangent again, but
No, you're fine. You're fine. And shout out to Qamar Shamdin said salam. Hope you're doing well, Qamar. I definitely agree with that. And now comes the part where, this is a question that I've asked. We had another person come on the show. His name is Isa Maidi. He does some music as well. And so I asked him this question is for those people that say you shouldn't be making music because it's haram or forbidden. What is your response to that? Because obviously, I mean, as a Muslim, I know that road was not easy for you to get over that hump. But what keeps you going and what motivates you to keep it rolling, even with people maybe asking you that question or challenging you?
Well, disclaimer number one, I am not an Islamic scholar or sheikh by any means. But I can only go based off of my experiences and the way I view the world and life. So number one is, of course, it's something I've heard from back in the day when I started. It's something a younger version of me would probably be a little more defensive. Like, no, like, as I get older, like, I try to take the good from everything. If someone has something, I'm like, let me listen. But I don't necessarily have to agree with everything. So for me, we were talking a little bit earlier on this. Is like, I think it can be haram. I don't see it as black and white. I don't think it's a yes or no. Like, talk about like playing tabla. I know it gets detailed. People like string instruments versus, but like end of the day, I can't deny that like since I was young, the creative spark that God put in me, like that just makes me who I am. Without it, I'm a zombie of myself. I'm a shell of myself. Like maybe other people be like, oh, like I'm not being Omar at my truest. And I don't mean on a lower level. I mean just like I know I have something to offer the world. And I've found Islam, God, love, heartbreak. I've found it all through music. Now, if someone were to come and say, well, why do you need the music? You can just journal and do poetry. Like, that's a fair point. That's where that's something I'm willing to discuss, like maybe later down the road. But like right now, the same power when I was younger and didn't know things, like maybe a song I wouldn't listen to now after some of the things I've learned and where I am in my life, like it would hype me up or something. I'm like, that same energy can exist while dishing goodness out. Like there is a battle out there. Like whether we like it or not, music's music. It's the people who pretend it's not a problem or it's like youth aren't gonna listen to it or no one's gonna listen to it. It's like no, like music's a part of life. It's I mean, I think even Quran like rhythmically is like when people read it, it's like no one touches the bars of Allah. Like it's like, but like I think it's just like there's ways to teach. There's ways to the same way like I listen to whoever, like scholars or even listen to TED Talks or like people are just processing information and then like taking their own lessons, wisdom, and then putting it out into the world. And then sometimes that gets you paid. That's your job. Is like, hey, just help others realize the things that you realized.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, music's a platform for me, and I feel it's a powerful platform for me, and that's part of the test. That's part of too. Is like so that's why I say is like, of course I listen to when people say it's oh it's this is that like but that's also comes back to me. It's like I need to check internally. So when people say it's haram, it's like I respectfully say like I respect your opinion, and just leave it at that. Like
Yeah.
I'm not forcing anybody to listen. I don't. I think a lot of people have dealt with this a lot. This is not like a novel issue. Like so many people like Lupe Fiasco. I remember like me growing up. Like he was like one of my favorites growing up, and then like I'm sure there's pressure on him. Like like you're Muslim, and I think that goes to a reminder where like none of us are the prophets or prophets or these like divine figures. So it's like that's where this capitalism, music industry, all of it comes in. Where it's like, yeah, that part I got you. Like, yeah, there's clear stuff that's like be careful on that road. But like as far as the act of making music or listening to music, I don't see it as black and white as haram. I don't. I think it comes with intentions. Like you can make anything haram just by your intentions. Like if you don't have good or pure intentions, it becomes not of God. It's not of goodness. Versus like if I approach this like, which is why as you get older, like we talk with youth. Like I try to talk to younger musicians. All of it's like no one's perfect, and I don't expect anyone to be perfect. But like intentionality. So it's like if you're drunk and this, and you're slurring your words, but you're like in a studio. It's like music's a sacred thing. Like there's a spiritual element. So it's like. And there's some dark parts to it, so that's why I say like 100% can be haram because I've experienced the dark parts of it. I've been through it, and I've seen, and I think a lot of people who, for example, like a sheikh who knows nothing about music, has never made it, or it's like to them, I think it's just fear. So like no, like keep it away. So which I respect that, but like God wrote what He wrote. Like I'm in this the same way. There's so many other Muslim rappers. You don't have to be Muslim. Like there's music it's a very powerful tool. It can move people. That's why I think when people say, "Oh, it's haram," it's like, are you moving people to remind them of something, or what's your reasoning? Like, what do you want? What do you want from this song? What do you want? So for me, that's as I get older, like I haven't reached a point where internally I genuinely believe that it's okay. It's haram. I need to let it go. If I feel that internally, it's like khalas, like I'll let it go.
Yeah.
But I just think it doesn't have to be this black and white. I think. Because it's on such a public platform, people speak on it so openly. But it's like every one of us are sinners or at times misguided. It's like that's life. We're ups and downs. So that's one thing I would say is just like that's my personal opinion. I wish there was more communication on it. Like I think people who actually make music or have been in the scene should be the ones talking about, at least with the shiuch, like understanding, and then the shiuch make their own like process that information and then go in. Like there's stuff I wish I could talk about with some of the scholars I look up to. Not from any reason being like I'm right, but I'm genuinely curious. Like,
Yeah.
hey, this is really deep. I went through some things I would love to talk to you about. But it's a loaded topic, too much for it to capture in one thing. But I think just like with anything, use discernment, balance, proceed with be real, be natural, but like be aware. Like be aware, and that goes to social media too. Like you don't have to be making music. I think, like I said, why it's a loaded topic. It's like just be aware of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and that's a continuous process. You're gonna mess up. I still have days. I'm like, nope. Sometimes I take a song down.
Yeah. I like the advice of being aware too. By the way, that's a great advice. And then you guys want to chime in on that topic of like people making music or even just listening to music. Like, what are your thoughts, Yusuf?
Oh yeah. So like you said, like towards the end, you were saying, be aware of where, of what are you doing it for, and like also like what you were saying, and like, as long as you know you know, what the cause is for. You know, I feel like it's fine to do music. You know, I don't feel like it's not necessarily a bad thing. Especially, obviously, you know, you say the right things and things like that, and you know what your intention is for and to who it is. So, I mean, that's my input on that.
Like I said, just be aware.
Yeah, for sure. So, thank you. Shout out to Qamar. She said you have buzzers next to you. Yes, we do, because we're about to get into that question games part of it as well. But we are gonna run an ad right quick. Use Ramsey. I'm sorry, and the ad will be the Balkan House restaurant. She said, great talk, Omar. So, you know, you were spitting some facts earlier, and she's just agreeing with it. So, shout out to Omar. We appreciate you. We're going to run the Balkan House ad. We're going to get into the question game, 4 bars / word of the day, and then we're going to end the show with some weekend motivation from Omar. And then that's how we're going to close it out. So, shout out to the Balkan House restaurant. Great place. Go ahead and run the ad.
The Balkan House restaurant. The Balkan House restaurant is famous for their doner kebab sandwich. But did you know that the Balkan House now serves breakfast? Did you also know that all their food is 100% halal? The Balkan House now also have 2 food trucks, so you can book your next party or event with the Balkan House on wheels. Their Hamtramck location is 3028 Kniff Street, Hamtramck, Michigan. Their Ferndale location is 314 West 9 Mile Road, Ferndale, Michigan. Again, you can book their food trucks for your next party or event. So if you're looking for a nice place to eat, with friendly service and great prices, look no further than the Balkan House restaurants.
All right. So we are officially back, ready to roll. We got Omar in the building today. Go ahead and give him a round of applause, man. He's over here sharing knowledge with y'all, and y'all better be appreciating this right here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Omar here. So, first of all, we got the questions game, right? So this is where I ask a question. We got the buzzers next to us. Yusuf and Zach probably going to argue over under 1.5 right now, okay? So it's probably going to happen twice.
You know why we argue?
All right. Is it my fault?
100%.
There you go. See? So that's the argument. I mean, long story short, I ask a question. Whoever hits the buzzer first gets a chance to answer it. If you answer incorrectly, you get a minus point. If you answer it correctly, you get a point. So it's 3 questions. Best out of 3, basically. Whoever gets it right. We usually have teams, so it's usually 2 on 2.
Okay.
But you know, our other co-hosts on the show, because there's actually 5 young fellas on the show with myself. They are, you know, one has a baseball game, the other one's working. So, you know, we're gonna go ahead and just do individuals. So y'all all by yourselves right now, okay?
All right.
With that said, again, today's topic is about chasing your dreams. So these questions have to do with chasing your dreams. Number 1, again, these are stuff that I said. So, what's the first step in chasing your dreams?
Knowing what you want.
Knowing what you want. Go ahead and give him a round of applause. Who hit the buzzer again over there, man? Trying to sneak it in. 1-0-0 is the current score. Shout out to Omar. He answered that one quickly. Quickly.
Setting your goals at it. Also, there, don't know.
No. I just put down finding out what you really want. Number 2, what's the hardest part about chasing your dreams? Who did that?
It was me.
Okay.
Hardest part chasing your dreams is, you know, not having discipline.
Hey, my man just winged that. He tried to think of the best answer for that question. All right?
Yeah.
Well, since he got a minus point, does anybody want to get a point?
Say the question again.
Nobody knows the answer.
I said, what is the hardest part about chasing dreams? Remember stuff that I was saying, guys. Remember, like, see, like, what he's saying is not wrong, okay? Like, obviously, discipline is the important part, but it's not what I was saying, Yusuf. That's why, like, that's the important part about these questions. Yeah.
It's quitting too early, like the obstacles, like not following.
Oh, no way, bro.
Yeah, so listen. Well, first of all, you already got the minus point.
Oh, I
Okay.
did?
Yeah, you got the minus point. But I put if God is giving you signs to stop or testing you to keep going. You know what I'm saying? So he said not quitting. So we're gonna go ahead and give Omar that point again. All right. So now it is down.
That's
So
kind
two-
of that's like a bailout point. I don't know if I.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean no. You said not quitting. I mean you gotta keep going. All right. This last one. All right. You guys gotta listen to it because y'all gonna know the answer. But y'all gotta let it. By the way, another rule is you have to let the question finish. They're gonna start yelling at me if you hit the buzzer too early. All right.
All right, my bad.
So number 3. With dreams comes what? And this word starts with the letter O. With dreams comes what?
Obstacles.
Obstacles. That is correct. Go ahead and give Zach.
Oh, it's going to be opportunity.
Big general.
That's the questions game for you. All right. Those questions are not easy. Like I had to come up with questions that had to do with chasing your dreams. Like it wasn't no like straightforward questions. You know what I'm saying?
respect.
All right. So with that said, that was the questions game. Now comes the 4-bar/word of the day. So today's word is lyrical. Omar is a lyrical genius over here. He got some bars. So I was like, you know what? Let me find a word that makes sense with our guest, and lyrical was one of them. Lyrical means something described as lyrical has an artistically beautiful or expressive quality, often one that is reminiscent of song. Okay, so lyrical can mean anything, but more so relates to when it comes to making songs or music. Okay, I don't know if anybody of y'all got bars. I'm gonna start off with y'all then. Lyrical. Go ahead, Zach. Put it. So we like to put it in a sentence or in a situation, Zach.
I would say, all my bars, ever wrote ever, not one time has it been lyrical.
So all of them are lyrical.
All of them are lyrical.
All of them.
Yeah, you said it hasn't been lyrical, by the way, Zach. So you supposed to say.
No,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying,
nah,
though.
you said it wrong, bro.
I feel like, okay, so shout out to mine, Zach. All right, all his bars have been lyrical. Yusuf?
Got you. Yeah, when it comes to music, man, I feel like the best type of music is the most lyrical music, because I know some, especially these days, like 2020 and up, a lot of young audience or even older audience, they listen to music where it's more of the instrumental, where they where they love, or some people, for example, mumble music, like they like that. But I'm a huge fan of lyrical music because it just shows like what the artist could do with different aspects of what they could do, and that's just the best in my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree with him 100%. I'm happy that he said that because, I'm worried about, again, the younger generation. All they do is like to listen to people that just sound like they're screaming and, and they just like to bop their heads to it crazily. Like it's a weird vibe that's been going on. And Zach is one of them, man. Zach being Zach and his friends they just be sitting there bopping their heads to random things, all right? But I'm going to let you go last because we want the best for last, right? So we want to make sure that we end it with you. So, I got the bars ready to go. Rams, you want to go ahead and hit that air horn for us right quick? The bar air horn. There you go. We appreciate that. We got to make sure we let people know, all right? Here we go. Lyrical is the word. Chilling with Omar. All of his bars are lyrical. He's been doing this for years. His artistry is empirical. 2 Omars in one room, it must be a miracle. If you think you can out-rap him, you must be hysterical. Make sure y'all listen to his work. His songs are unique. He always writes with meaning with every word that he speaks. Shout out to Omar.
My man.
Gotta look out for you, you know what I'm saying? He's in the building.
I'm honored. Those are some bars.
For sure. All right. Shout out to Omar. It's your turn. 4 bars. Word of the day. Of course, it doesn't have to be 4 bars. So.
All right, we're gonna go a little over 4 bars.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say subhanallah, an awesome thing. You said something, it would be connected, but
Yep.
some patience. But here we go. I could spit a couple rhymes to prove a point that I'm lyrical, invincible, mix a couple syllables that sound a bit atypical, but at this point in my life, I feel far beyond the physical. I left a martyr for Lawama, always feeling hypocritical. Mutma'inna is my target and my goal for the spiritual state of which I strive for. Remember, if you try for perfection, that's too critical. You're perfect exactly as you are, but remember that it's pivotal to protect your heart and evolve to as closer when we were all connected to our umbilical. Like old school Saturday mornings, milk and cereal, pure fitra, all the brethren, soldiers of love with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the general, or Jesus or Moses, saint, sinner, or untraditional. Everything else is immaterial. Enjoin goodness and justice, rehabilitate the sick and admittable. Remember to teach and not punish. Let our fruits be medicinal. Assalamu alaikum, that's peace, that's unconditional. Infinitely best to be here and experience life as it is. And like you said, a miracle. Thank you.
That's what he does. All right. We try to warn you guys.
That was beautiful.
It was a fair warning. I don't even think we gave him an air horn. We have to give him an air horn now for that one. Go ahead, Ram. Just go ahead and give him an air horn.
Thank you.
Shout out to Omar, man. So we had somebody ask, who is the guest's favorite artist before we go into the weekend motivation?
Man, that's a hard question.
Yep.
Man. Because I'm already going to feel bad if I can't say someone because I'm going to leave out so many people.
Yeah.
In my heart of hearts, like right now, I love Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
From Section 80, overly dedicated, to now, I think he is someone whose art I respect. I like that he takes his time. He the true artists to me. But there's so many artists. It's like I can't be like.
Yeah.
It's not a you're above everyone else. It's just like for me, my favorite. He speaks to me, and I know he speaks to a lot of people. But like as he speaks to artists too. Like he's just. To Pimp a Butterfly, like people need to go listen to that.
Yeah.
It's not the most radio, but like he's amazing. Shout out to so many, man. Brother Ali, Mos Def, Yassine Bey. Nowadays, I mean, there's so many good artists nowadays. I like Larry June, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know Larry June, but all the rest of those guys I've
Do
definitely
you
heard of. Him.
do you know Lil Durk?
I know him. I don't know him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Also, when he compared you to J. Cole, who would you compare yourself to?
That's hard for me. It's genuinely hard for me, and I love J. Cole. I'll put him up there too. Of course, there's so many. There's, sometimes I say, okay, this is good, without sounding conceited, but like if I'm creating a sonic, like where I think I fit in is somewhere within Chance the Rapper, J Electronica, mixed with maybe a little like Anderson .Paak.
Okay.
I don't know. That's top of my head. That's
Got you.
Interesting.
Also, people should check out Toby and Wigway.
Nice.
He's someone who's he's a beast. He's doing some good things.
Well, again, shout out to Omar. Before we close out this show, we will end it off with weekend motivation. This is where like I record you actually with my phone as well, because this is the clip that we typically pull out to post on social media to let people know that we had a show. But before I do that, again, be sure to, this was season 2, episode 33 of the Movement Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to all of our pages. You got YouTube, Oz Media, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok under Oz Media. You can listen to the show later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. And, shout out to our sponsors, Hanley International Academy, Balkan House, Qahwa House, BC Adhesives, and Juice Box and Hamtramck. We appreciate all those businesses for supporting everything that we do as well. So with that said, this is the weekend motivation. This can come from anything or everything. It doesn't even have to be about chasing your dreams. It could be about maybe something that you always wanted to share with an audience, So anything that you have, we want to make sure that we give our audience something that could motivate them to get them through the weekend. So Omar, what is your weekend motivation?
All right, your weekend motivation is, remember, faith drives out fear and fear drives out faith. Stick with the first one. Drink water, breathe, take your time, enjoy the little things, get organized and just get centered and be nice to yourself.
Beautiful.
I love that, man. I feel like you just covered 20 different things in 20 seconds.
Trying to.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kept it simple, which is also great. Shout out to Omar, man. We got the gear on here. We even got clothes out of this episode. Like, man, we you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be the guest. You're supposed to be the one. We're supposed to be giving you stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we appreciate you for coming on the show. Any final words, final comments you want to say?
Oz Media. Make sure everybody go follow that. But some music, we might have some music coming up. But go check out Omar Abu, AWBU on all streaming platforms. Check out the music. I just put out, I think, 9 tracks like in the past 6 months. So yeah, I'm gonna let those sit for a bit. But yeah, thank you for having me. Pleasure. Make sure whoever's watching this, check out The Good Brother. Please support. This man's doing good stuff. Got the brothers and nephews involved. I love this. And this is just good energy. Good to be here. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Zach, any final comments you want to say?
A great show and a great guest. We're happy to have you here.
Yusuf?
Like Ahmad said, my brother, thank you for real for coming on the show, and also thank you for this gear as well. And I'm for sure gonna listen to the music because I'm very interested now, especially after this podcast and listening to what you had to say. It gives me extra motivation to go out there and listen.
Do you do songs with people or no?
Yeah, as long as it's
Makes sense.
makes sense. As long as it's real.
Yeah.
Well, that means even the process. That's my only rule.
Yeah.
It's like
You
as
know,
long as
Do you record in your home or you go?
yeah, mostly home recording.
okay.
I used to do studios back in the day, but I found a little good pocket with myself at home. So I do a lot of my work at home. It's most natural for me.
Easier.
Yeah, it's less. Sometimes it's good for some songs, but it's less performative.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Like you just gotta be in your natural element. So it's like my best writing comes with just like write first. What do you want to say? And it's like sometimes it's like I want a hype track. It's okay. I want a hype track too. Like I want I want a banger. It's okay, but like what's the banger about? What's in your what's in your chest?
For sure. You about to say something, Zach, or no? You about to say something? All right. Ramsey, shout out to Ramsey, by the way. Shout out to Zach, shout out to Yusuf, shout out to Omar. This was, again, season 2, episode 33 of The Movement.
The movement.
We are officially live. We hope that you enjoy it. Next week for the Movement podcast, so we like to do challenges. We're actually going to have a softball challenge. That's why I was laughing with you earlier when I said, mashallah, we have a lot of family members that we have enough to where we're challenging like our friends in a softball game, and it's our family versus friends. So I like to have challenges with these young fellas. They played volleyball, they've played dodgeball, they've played basketball challenges. So now next week we'll be going live on Sunday at 1:00 for a softball challenge. It's gonna be Thabdullah. So we're Thabits. Our mom's side of the family is Abdullah, so we call ourselves Thabdullah versus Jacob's team. So it's a local friends team. They have a lot of people. And so it should be a great game. It should be fun as always. Be sure to tune in. It's going to be a fun time. And that'll be our episode for next week. So we'll see you all next week.